Iran's new president says he wants to reach an international agreement on his country's nuclear program in 3 to 6 months. Secretary of State John Kerry will talk about that when he meets Iran's foreign minister later today. In an interview yesterday, President Hassan Rouhani told me he wants the world to treat Iran like other nuclear nations. We also discussed a second issue where Rouhani differs from Iran's former president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the Holocaust. There's one issue I have to clear up because it was talked about this morning and was talked about even this afternoon after an interview with Christiane Amanpour of CNN, raised the question of the Holocaust. And this question has meaning here because of your predecessor. And the question was asked, do you accept the fact that there was a Holocaust in which more than, or at least 6 million Jews were killed?
In principle, we and I condemn the massacre carried out by the Nazis in the World War II. I'll also add that many groups were killed by the Nazis in the course of the war, Jews in specific, but there were also Christians, there were Muslims, and so in principle I'll tell you that my government, I condemn massacre, the killing of people or any group. I'll tell you that when an innocent person is killed, we never go about asking or inquiring whether they were Jewish or Christian or Muslim. That's not our way, our creed. We simply say that we condemn any killing, any massacre, and therefore we condemn the massacre of the Jewish people by the Nazis, as we also condemn the other massacres that took place in the course of the war.
And part and parcel of that is you do not want to deny that it took place because that is an insult to humanity.
Why would I want to deny it? Why would I want to deny it? I want to add to this debate. Not only do I deny the criminal acts of the Nazis, we condemn it. At the same time, I really believe, because given that we live in the Middle East, we feel the impact of what took place in World War II today in our region. We think that it's time to really separate that event from what's happening to a group of people now in the Middle East who've lost their homes, who've been discriminated against, who have gone through some of the worst kinds of torture that no one, even the Jewish people, would want to see.
This became a big issue yesterday. First of all, there was a breakfast in which David Remnick asked him about it, then Christiane, and then this conversation. But he is different than his predecessor in terms of recognizing.
He wanted to make that clear. When you're working through a translator, is it harder to make a connection with the president, do you think, or do you think he clearly understood what you were saying?
Oh, he understood. He understands English, by the way.
Does he? Okay.
This was a nightmare interview, not because of him. It was technically just incredible. An Iranian technician came in and trying to establish a plug-in so he could record for Iranian television, knocked some of our equipment out of order. So it was like a nightmare. We had about 20 minutes less than we really wanted to. And he, in fact, was so sympathetic to me. He said, come to Tehran and I'll spend more time with you and give you a longer interview.
As always, it works out perfectly for Charlie.
I was going to say, we always know what happens when you go places, Charlie. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Very good interview.